Hi, church family. I hope that you're doing well today. Happy Monday. Yes, today's Monday. If you're like me, you wake up each day and say, what day is this? So, tonight's story, I have this theme tonight going about hope. And I love the Psalms. I hope you all are staying, reading scriptures through this and finding a lot of strength and hope through scripture. Hi Mom. Tonight's story is taken from the Psalms, chapter 39, verse 7, which says, "Now Lord, what do I wait for? My hope is in you." And as we find ourselves continuing in these days, more and more, I think our strength, we can lean into our strength and our hope through our faith and seeing God in one another. And I'm feeling quite sentimental today about our church family and the love that I see in our church family for each other and how we're holding each other through these days. So I thank God for Skyland United Methodist, all of you. So these stories are dedicated to us as a church family and to our extended family out there who might be watching tonight, because we're all together as brothers and sisters in Christ through this. We're all part of this beautiful creation together. So tonight's story, first story, there are two. This one is a little younger, but I just loved it, and I hope you do. How High is Hope? This is by Amy Parker. Let's get a little closer here so you can see. Hi, Chris. Gosh, it's good to see you there. So this is based on Psalm 39, that our hope comes from God. Papa, little one, asked, "How high does hope go?" Papa said, looking up from his work. Let me think about that one. I'm sorry, did I tell you it was by Amy Parker? I think I did. Yeah. Okay, so little Owl is asking, how high does hope go? Is hope higher than the stars? Oh, yes. Papa stopped for a moment. I think it is. Little one squinted in the morning light. Is hope brighter than the sun, Papa? Yes, little one, Papa answered. Imagine that. Imagine that hope is brighter than the sun. Papa, little one said, as the big wide world around them, is hope what makes you brave? Well, yes, Papa said as he fluffed up his chest. When you put your hope in God, you can be very brave. Just like John Plott, who's watching. Hi, John. Is hope lighter than a butterfly? Little one asked. Oh, I think so, Papa answered, and I think it can make you feel that way too. Where does hope come from, Papa? Oh, that's easy, little one. Hope comes from God. But why can't we see hope, Papa? Well, that's just it, he said as he ruffled his feathers. Hope is for the things that God has promised, but we can't yet see. But I would even add to that we can see hope, can't we? When we see the wildflowers blooming and the birds chirping and there's a lot of ways we can see hope in creation. At least I have in these days, and I hope you have. So, Papa, little one began, hope is invisible, but it can make me brave and big and feel lighter than a butterfly? Yes, Papa laughed. Yes, I guess that's true. Little one grinned. You know what, Papa? That makes me really happy. Hope can do that too, Papa said, and pulled the little one close for a hug. just like we wish we could do right now. That hug. Oh my goodness, I miss those hugs from you all. A lot of us are missing hugs these days. But Papa, little one asked, how will I know how high I can hope? The secret, Papa said, lifting off, is that only God knows. Just put your hope in God and see how high you can go. And just like that, little one took one giant leap and flew. So faith, hope, and love. And tonight our focus is on that hope that we have through our faith in God. A hope that has proven to carry us through a lot of times before this and will continue to carry us through one day at a time. And creation is such a beautiful example of that hope. So I was drawn to this next book tonight. That is Max Lucado's book, The Boy and the Ocean. The little boy rolled over in his bed and opened his eyes. Through his window, he could see the ocean. Big and blue, rolling waves, water crashing on the beach. The little boy stood at the window and searched for the end of the ocean, and he couldn't see it. He could see the ships. He could see the birds. He could see the horizon stretching across it. But the little boy could not see the end of the ocean. He couldn't see the end. Hi, Molly and Kai. You love the ocean too, yes. Wouldn't it be amazing to see the ocean right now? Would you like to play in the ocean? His mom asked. He stood on the edge of the water with his mom. She took his hand and they waded into the surf. When the water covered his feet, he looked up at her. When it reached his knees, he took a deep breath and squeezed her hand. When the wave rushed across his chest, she laughed, and he did too. Do you remember some of those days that you've been at the ocean? The two sat in the sand and let the waves splash over them. God's love is like the ocean. My little boy, she said, God's love is always here. It's always deep. It never ends. God's love is special. The little boy spent the day playing near the ocean. He counted starfish. He built sand castles. He searched for shells. But most of all, he watched the ocean. He could see the clouds above it, and he could feel the tide within it. He could taste the salt inside it. But he could never see the end of it. He could never see the end of the ocean. That night, as the moonlight stretched across the sea and landed on his face, he listened to the waves slap, slap, slap against the sand. Go to bed, my sweet boy, his mother whispers. The ocean will not leave. The ocean will not change. The ocean is like God's love, always here, always deep. It never ends. God's love is special. And my Wesley is so excited about this story right now. I don't know why. He saw something. Hi, Patty. Hi, Karen. Hi, Kevin and Carrie. So the boy slept with the sound of the ocean in his ears. The next day, the little boy looked out of a different window at the mountains, high and tall, white-tipped, touching the clouds. The little boy looked from side to side to see the end of the mountains, and he couldn't see it. He could see the trees growing among them. He could see the snow glistening on top of them. He could see the birds flying around them. But he couldn't see the end to the mountains. Whew, aren't we blessed to be in these beautiful mountains? Would you like to hike the mountains? His dad asked. He took the boy's hand, and together they started up the mountain trail. When the leaves scattered over the boy's feet, he looked up at his father. When the wind shook the tall trees, he took a deep breath and squeezed his father's hand. When they looked out over the great valley, the boy smiled. And the boy did too. The two sat on a rock, and they looked around. God's love is like these mountains, my dear boy. They're always here. It's always big. It never ends. God's love is so special. The two spent the day playing in the mountains. The boy splashed in the creek, and he picked flowers in the meadow. He listened to the singing birds, just like we hear outside right now. But most of all, he just looked at those mountains. He could see the sky above them. He could feel the wind through them. He could hear the water bubbling. He could never see the end of the mountains. He could never see the end. That night, as the boy appeared from behind the peaks, as the moon appeared from behind the peaks that night, the boy thought of the mountains and he smiled. "Go to sleep, my little boy," his father whispers. "The moon or the mountains will never leave. The mountains will not change. The mountains are like God's love, always here, always tall. It never ends. God's love is special." And so the boy slept with thoughts of mountains in his dreams. Oh, is that not the best picture? Oh. Have any of you ever dreamed of flying like that? I used to dream that I would be sitting on a cloud and just flying and floating. The next day, he ran on the beach and swam in the water. And he chased his puppy up the mountain trail and looked for flowers. When the day ended, he and his parents lay on the grass and looked at the night sky. Stars everywhere, twinkling, shimmering, diamonds in the dark. He looked as far as he could see to the end of the sky, and he couldn't see the end. Oh, I would encourage you all to get out and look at the beautiful night sky too. Gives us perspective. How amazing this world is. Hi, Ella Kate and Addison. The boy could see the moon, yellow and round. He could see clouds puffy and fat. He saw a star race from one side of the sky to the other. Oh, that's incredible. Have you ever seen one of those, a comet or a meteorite? But the boy could not see the end of the sky. "Would you like to count the stars?" his mom and dad asked. So they tried. A dozen over here, a dozen or two over there. There were so many. When he reached 100, the boy looked up at his mom. When the wind turned chilly, his dad held him close. His parents looked up into the big sky, and they became quiet. So did he for a while. But then the boy spoke. "God's love is like the night sky. It's always here. It's always big. It never ends. God's love is special. And Kai says, I want to do that. I know, Kai. I hope you do go outside and look at the stars sometime. If not tonight, sometime soon. When you look up at those stars, you remember that God made that sky and God made you, and His love is never ending, just like those stars. The boy and the mom and the dad, they stay together for a long time, near the ocean, close to the mountains, beneath the sky, surrounded by God's love. And they smiled. And that, my friends, is the end of the story tonight. So I think tonight's message for us is to remember to look at creation, to be reminded of those signs of hope, that God is with us. We have each other. We have God. We have His creation, God's creation. And I pray that you are doing well. I miss you all so much. I love you. Take good care and know that even though we can't be together at church right now, that my heart is connected to your heart. We're looking up at the same stars and the moon tonight when we go to bed. And I really look forward to the day that we can sing and pray and worship together again. And that's it. So take care of yourselves. I'm glad you joined me, and love to you all. Bye.